You searched the writings of Nichiren Daishonin. You read Kanjin no Honzon-sho front to back. And you were right. There is no sentence in it that says, do not visualize. So, why did we say he forbade it? Page 365 has the answer. He replaced it. Aaron Fleming, 4878, wrote this. I've read the writings of Nichiren Daishonin 3 times. I can't find anywhere it says don't visualize during chanting. 3 times through. That's not someone skimming. That's someone who actually did the work. Then, Reiki Rev pointed at something worse. This same channel has told you more than once to see yourself well while you chant. Polish the mirror, see yourself clearly. If visualization is forbidden, what exactly is that supposed to mean? And Niju 9316 went further, describing exactly what they do instead. Picturing the mantra's characters one by one against a blank white wall while they chant. 3 different readers, 3 different angles on the same open question. None of them wrong to ask it. This isn't a nitpick. If the channel got this wrong, everything else it's taught about facing the Gohonzon is suspect too. So let's go back to the source. Not a summary of it, the actual page. Nichiren finished this treatise on April 25th, 1273, in a hut at Ichinosawa on Sado Island, and sent it to a follower named Toki Jonin. To observe the mind means to observe one's own mind and find the 10 worlds within it. Kanjin no Honzon-sho, Writings of Nichiren Daishonin, Volume 1, page 354. That's the whole definition, not a method, not a step-by-step, just what the word itself means. Shakyamuni's causal practices and their resulting virtues are all contained within the 5 characters of Myoho-renge-kyo. When we embrace these 5 characters, he will naturally transfer to us the merit of his causes and effects. Same treatise, page 365. Read both of those again. Neither one says, do not visualize. Neither one names Kannen at all. What Nichiren does instead is redefine the entire question. He doesn't argue against the old practice. He replaces what observing the mind means. So what exactly was he replacing? What was Kannen before all this? Zhu Yi lived in China from 538 to 597 on Mount Tiantai, and he built the entire meditation system Nichiren is responding to. Kannen, Kanyen, Kan, to observe, Nin, a single thought moment. Together, holding a mental image steady enough to see something behind it. Not casual reflection. Zhu Yi's method demanded quiet sitting, controlled breath, and one specific task, constructing in the mind the 32 physical marks of the Buddha's body, one at a time, held without wavering. Some practitioners visualized Sanskrit seed syllables. Others, in later esoteric Tendai, mapped specific deities onto specific parts of their own body. A different Buddha for the crown, the throat, the heart. Try holding one clear mental image for even 10 seconds without it slipping. Now imagine doing that as your daily practice, for years, correctly, or the whole exercise fails. This is what Kannen was built for, reaching Ri-Ichinen Sanzen, the 3,000 realms, as a theoretical principle through pure mental discipline. And Nichiren's problem with it wasn't the theory, It was who could actually do it. Nichiren was writing 1600 years after Shakyamuni died, deep into what Buddhist tradition calls the latter day of the law. His claim? Ordinary people this far removed don't have the capacity Ji-Yi's monks had. In Hokkei Daimokusho, he even admits the wise can still combine chanting with contemplating the 3,000 realms directly. But for everyone else, simply chanting the Daimoku brings the identical benefit. So he converts the entire equation. D, principle, becomes Ji, actuality. The 3,000 realms stop being something you construct in your head. They get embodied instead, in ink, on a physical scroll. That's the answer to who could actually do it. Everyone. Because the difficulty moved from your mind to the page in front of you. What almost nobody outside Nichiren Buddhism knows is that this same substitution plays out differently depending which lineage you ask. And that's exactly where the eyes open instruction actually comes from. Picture the Gohonzon again. Ink strokes, a wooden altar, nothing hidden inside it. That flat piece of paper is doing everything Ichinen Sanzen used to require years of training to reach. But facing the Gohonzon turns out to mean something slightly different depending on which door you walked through. Now back to Reiki Reb's question. If visualization is off the table, what is polish your mirror actually telling you to do? This line isn't from Kanjin no Honzon-sho at all. It's from a separate letter. On attaining Buddhahood in this lifetime, written years earlier. A mind now clouded by the illusions of the innate darkness of life is like a tarnished mirror. But when polished, it is sure to become like a clear mirror, reflecting the essential nature of phenomena and the true aspect of reality. Arouse deep faith and diligently polish your mirror day and night. How should you polish it? Only by chanting Namu-myoho-renge-kyo. On attaining Buddhahood in this lifetime, page 4. The mirror is your own life. Polishing is the Daimoku itself, the sound, the faith, the repetition. Nothing about this sentence asks you to picture anything. Kannen paints an image onto the mirror, a golden Buddha, a beam of light, whatever you can hold in your head. Kanjin just looks directly into the mirror as it already is. When this channel told you to see yourself well, it meant your actual face in that mirror, your real thoughts, your real day, not a picture you build. So no, there's no contradiction. Polish the mirror and don't construct mental images are the exact same instruction, said two different ways. 3 lineages, 3 answers to what facing the Gohonzon means. Nichiren Shoshu, Nichiren Shu, and Soka Gakkai International. Nichiren Shoshu is the strictest. Eyes stay open, gaze fixed on the single character, Myo, at the center of the scroll. Closing your eyes or picturing anything at all counts as a failure of practice. Nichiren Shu built something different in 1957. Bishop Nichijun Yukawa introduced Shodaigyo, silent sitting phases folded in around the chanting, later expanded by Reverend Tairyu Gondo. And because Nichiren Shu reveres the eternal Shakyamuni Buddha as the primary Buddha, some of their prostration rituals do involve picturing his presence. That's real visualization inside a Nichiren lineage. Soka Gakkai sits closer to where this channel started. Eyes open, no fixed point, no image. Just the sound of your own voice and the resolve behind it. One more source backs this up, but it needs a caveat. The Ongi Kuden records, To observe one's own mind means to have faith in the Gohonzon. That's not Nichiren's own handwriting. It's his disciple Nikko's record of lectures given at Minobu, and Nichiren Shu itself disputes it. So which door is right? All three agree on the one thing that matters here. None of them ask you to construct an image in your head. They just disagree on how tightly to control your eyes. Which leaves exactly one question. What does any of this actually change about what you do tonight? Nothing changes. Not your eyes, not your posture, not one thing about how you already sit in front of the Gohonzon. Niju 9316. Picturing characters against a blank wall. That's closer to Kannen than Kanjin. Not wrong to ask about it, just worth dropping. Because the voice alone already does the work. And Aaron Fleming 4878. 3 readings of the writings and still no banning line? That's because you were never supposed to find one. You were supposed to find a replacement. What's actually happening when you face the Gohonzon and chant? Your own voice becomes the practice, the ink becomes the object, and the space between them closes with nothing extra required. The effort you were braced to spend on visualizing doesn't vanish. It moves into your resolve, your sincerity, the strength of your own voice. That redirected effort has a name too. Ichinen. Not a picture in your mind, a vow carried in sound. So the last question isn't what you got wrong. It's what all of this was actually protecting. Everything you need to go deeper is at NMRKOB.com, or follow the link in the description or pinned comment. Nichiren didn't write a rule forbidding visualization. He wrote a replacement so complete, the old rule became unnecessary. Kannen asked you to build something in your mind. Kanjin asks you to bring your actual mind, as it is, in front of something already built. If a moment like this is useful to you, the full library of translated Gosho and daily practice guides lives at NMRKOB.com. Links below. And if you want these questions answered before they turn into a comment thread, that's what the community is for. What you were protecting this whole time was never the rule. It was the voice.